war. Him say, we Africans will fight if it is necessary. Because we are confident in the victory of good over evil. And now we say, internationally.
Yeah. Hear me not scatter. Yeah.
Yes, so we play this song here because a whole heap of people use this song here like what is said is something that has passed, so we don't need for really struggle for get whatsoever I said until in that song. We say a whole heap of people use it to even fight against me too. Because I tell them, say, when I little to say it, it wasn't telling you that you must just sit down now because, you know, there's no first class and second class citizen. You know, the color of a man's skin don't make no difference now. Him say until. And I little to never say war. Him say we Africans will fight if it is necessary. Because we are confident in the victory of good over evil. And now we say internationally, we see the colonial masters and them white supremacist attitude is raising up them head over the fence again. Yes, we see it happening in America. Every week now you see is a mass shooting. And don't take it lightly because in France it is also happening. Racism is on the rise in France. And when we look into Africa, it's a serious situation is going on in Africa, you know, we can't take it lightly. We can't take it lightly. And that is the constant cooing that is taking place. Last week, we came here and we talked about Nigeria and what was taking place in Nigeria. Now we see it is Gabon. Gabon, even though a small little country, but it's very wealthy in certain things. And the French has been raping it with their stooges and their puppet governments. And the army now get up and say, enough is enough. This family, where the brother named Bongo, his family has been ruling the country for 50 odd years. 50 odd years. I'm listening to a report out there and them say, them going at them house because them have him under house arrest. And them find millions of dollars in him house. And when them investigate it, him family and all of them have house in this country, many cars in that the country and all them something. And the people them is jumping in the streets with joy that the army depose him in a coup. It's a long time we don't hear the people them run up and down in the street with the flag and everything and a shout, liberation, freedom. And we see that is what is taking place in a whole heap of countries that call themselves independent. It's just that you have some people in Africa now, like all the army now, them not care about no election. Because election just done in a Gabon. And when them say who win, them say no way, a robbery. Because the same family come back in a power. Serious thing. And the man them who have the coup, you know, is some man who used to work for the government, for the prime minister. Them decide say enough is enough. But I tell you, it's a serious thing. Anytime you say these things start to reach a Senegal, you're going to see something else. Senegal, that is the jewel of France, colonial countries, colonies I should say, countries. Senegal. Mali, they chase them out. A whole heap of ones from even that part of Africa chase them out and say enough is enough. We don't want your language again. But we know which part that start. Right in our backyard that start. That spirit of defiance against France and America started right in our backyard, right over a place called Haiti. What we call the root of the liberation struggle against French colonialism and white supremacy. And now we hear a lot of breadfruit government talking about them going to send army into Haiti to get rid of the gangs, as what them call it, the gangs. I wonder what them going to call the soldiers in Gabon. Because obviously the people, them don't recognize them as no gang. Them see them as liberators. And should we investigate why is it that there's gangs that is claimed to be taking over Haiti? We have been talking about this thing from last year, them time, Yeah, right on this continent, STEPPIN Razor program, we have been talking about it long time. And things are boil over now. Yeah, things are boil over, because we see some of the African country, them, aside with the French and the American, them. For instance, Nigeria and Southern Africa. We see a whole heap of them. As a matter of fact, the AU in general, the AU is declaiming that them have to do something about it. They want to maintain French domination in so-called the colonies of France. And these what you call francophone countries look like they will have none of that again. None of that. We must be able to govern ourselves, even in times when it look like we are doing the wrong thing. But when you do wrong things, there is always a solution to get back on track. Always. So when you see people make mistake, them continue, and them what? Them get rid of the mistake and go up on the right road. And that is what Africa must do to liberate themselves. And extension, the Caribbean people. The Caribbean people is part of colonial experience that a whole heap of people feel so complacent about, that them not in those problems, because we have a stable society and a stable government. We can say what we want to say in all these forums here. But look at the masses of the people. If one man declare that him free and the others are not free, no man can truly say that he is free. Because the freedom of one is dependent on the freedom of all. So we have to really take a stock and look how them grab way in our cultural expression, in our eating habits, and we're going to keep saying it over and over and over. What we eat, when we eat, how we eat, where we eat, what we wear, how we wear it, when we wear it. All these things is part of the colonial system that we take, like say, it's not colonialism, we are doing what we want to do. It is embedded in us from them time until now. We are like zombies. We, African people, are like zombies still treading the slave mill that is grinding slow but grinding still. First break and come forward. This is the stepping razor, the art of war. Confidence in the victory of good over evil. And when we talk about Africa, we now negate or cross out what is taking place around us. Because the fight for Africa is the fight for African people liberation. Anyway, them there. That is why it's called Pan-Africanism. Pan mean all Africa. So it's Pan-African mean all Africa. So when you hear we are taught this way, you know why you're going to the car and not talk about whether we know about a problem here, so the problem we're in Africa is the problem we're there, so the problem we're there is the problems we're in Africa. It's not a separate struggle. Because the same people them are carry out the destruction, not only of Africa, but the whole world. The whole world. The whole world is caught in a web of confusion, what them call democracy, and them call it Christianity. Them have us bound in shackles and chains that is invisible to the eyes, but very visible in the consciousness of the people them that it is surrounded by. It's a terrible thing. And then we don't even know. You see youth on the road. Now we have a big man, I don't even know if a big man still, but how many of you know 60-year-old man and 70-year-old man a crash? I mean, them a crash. Them is the problem for what happened on the road. A pure youth. Pure youth. When we look upon the death, the gun crime in Jamaica, we don't hear no 60-year-old, 70-year-old, 80-year-old people a fire gun. But them tell we say the youths are the future. What kind of future the youth them is bringing to the table? I want to tell you now, say, it's the fault of the parents. Well, it might be the fault of the parents, but are we now saying that the youth them is dumb and dummies? That them don't know what wrong is and what right is because they weren't taught that in a classroom. My mother never sit me down yet and tell me, say, this is that and this is that. But just grow up and know, say, this is that and this is that. We want to blame everyone. And we should blame because we don't really control the system. The democratic process, we don't control it. Because that done rig long time for the people them in power. So all you hear about voting. The voting done rig. You know, see it? When you get the outcome where you think you vote for, you jump up and say, yeah man, and me do that, you know, my vote count. And then when you look down the line, you see him one who I say, well, I'm sorry, say I vote for the government, you know, them wicked and thief and all them way there. Yes, it's so it go. Because all of them promise we. And we don't know in our consciousness that promises are comfort to a fool. And we make them keep carrying way. What happened to the people them? Look how much people come before and show the way. And we still look for more people to come show the way. When we know the problem, the system is a fraud. That is what it is all about. So sometimes you feel, say, the man gone, but it's not the man. The system, the man is just a puppet to the system. That is why this argument about constitutional reform is a farce. Constitutional reform is a farce. It has nothing to do with changes that is necessary to make the people them feel like them in a just society and an equitable society. It's a farce. You're going to use the British Constitution and look on it backwards. It's like you have a piece of paper, a sheet of paper, and you write something on it. And you turn around the paper. That is what the Jamaican do. And I talk about constitutional reform. Warm to the educated and the not so educated in our society. Why we can shape a constitution that is unique to us and our situation. What does it take to have our own constitution that is void of the colonial masters' input? We're so dumb that we can't even realize reforming or turning the paper upside down and looking for it from backwards is not going to make the thing different. It's the same constitution we are use. It's just that some lawyers and some Indian chiefs are going to sit down and use them European education and turn it round and then bring it to the people them and say, see it there now. And then them say it's a new constitution. It's not a new constitution them I look for. And the people they must know that. It's not a new constitution them asking for. You know, it's what them want to update the constitution that them have, that was given to them by Britain. So, just like when you talk about PNP and GLP, and you ball today and say, why the PNP look good, I'm going to vote for GLP. And you feel say you have vote for something different. You're voting for something different in your mind. It's the same people, them, the same thinking. What is the difference between the PNP and the GLP? Only the people, them, that is in the both parties, them is the difference. But the mindset, the manifesto, is the same. As we always say, it's like a two-headed dragon with one body. Them coming off of the same thinking. Mark Golding, lawyer, Indian chief, money management man. Mark Golding is the head of one of the head. And the man called the Right Honorable Andrew Holness is the next head. But when you check the head them, it's one body functioning. And all of the things them that make the body function, make the head function. And anything that make the head function, make the body function. And that is where we have around the country. And then you have some little guys in the parliament, you know, are going like, you get them at, hey, we're going to take a break and come forward because them people are, I hear them attack some things and I trying to figure out, I trying to wrap my head around it. What the hell them talking about? Unemployment is the lowest since whatsoever. And that me hear the Prime Minister say. But poverty gone up. No, I don't know if it's stupid, me stupid or what. Well, it's like them want me say me stupid. Unemployment supposed to bring prosperity. Is the Cane man employed? When you call him employed, is the woman who's sitting at the school gate selling little juice and little box juice, as like you call employed. Are you counting these people in the employment statistics? Crazy. We take a break and come forward.
ABC, let's go.
We have an album here produced by Earl China Smith. Really sweet album, really livicated to the man called Junior Biles. Junior Biles is one of our great singers of them timely, and China used to produce some of them tunes, especially the most famous one, Fade Away. Yes, Fade Away, written and produced by the man called Earl China Smith, and them other thing downtown there was really nice. You know, I see the brethren gone forward right to the root. The bingy drums, bingy straw drums, to reggae, to ska, to anything, any lyrics. We feel good to know that. So, him have an album here, we're really dedicated to, and it's also to help Junior Biles. So we're going to take the news and come forward. Yes.
Immigration form online. The online form will replace the paper document that is issued to travelers on airlines. The Immigration Customs C5 form is an entry requirement for persons traveling to the island, whether they are residents in Jamaica or visiting. The full rollout of the online form is being done in partnership with the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA, and the Jamaica Customs Agency. With the online form, passengers will now be able to submit that application ahead of their travel, and they can do it up to 30 days before they return. Travelers can fill out the form by visiting www.enterjamaica.com. Senior Director Projects Enterprise and Risk Management at PICA, Amy Johnson-Lynch, indicated that PICA has been in dialogue with airport operators to ensure that internet access will be available to allow persons to fill out the forms. Lynch noted that if there is no Wi-Fi available, travelers will revert to completing the physical form or be assisted in completing the process electronically by some other means. 2 men are in custody after 2 firearms and several rounds of ammunition were seized in Manchester and in St Andrew following separate operations yesterday. In one incident, a Clarendon man was arrested following the seizure of a firearm and several rounds of ammunition on the Porus Main Road in Manchester. Police reported that about 10 a.m. a team of officers was conducting a vehicle checkpoint when they signaled the driver of a Toyota minibus to stop. He complied, and a male passenger was seen acting in a manner that aroused suspicion. He was accosted, searched, and a Browning 9mm pistol containing 6 9mm rounds was found in his possession. In the second incident, another man was arrested after a firearm and ammunition were seized during an operation in Lacey District, Lawrence Tavern, St Andrew. Reports that about 6:30 a.m., a joint police and military team signaled the driver of a white Honda Street motorcar to stop. The driver complied and the search was conducted. A 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 12 rounds was found in a hidden compartment. In news overseas, former U.S. President Donald Trump pleaded not guilty today in his Georgia election fraud case, waiving his right to appear in court next week. Mr. Trump is among 19 people charged with a conspiracy to overturn the U.S. state's 2020 vote results. He turned himself in at Fulton County Jail in Atlanta last week. In total, Mr. Trump faces 13 felony counts, including racketeering, for allegedly pressuring Georgia officials to reverse the results of the 2020 presidential election in that state. An attorney for Trump is also to separate his case from those of defendants who have asked for an expedited trial that is scheduled to start on October 23. Trump, the frontrunner in the 2024 Republican presidential primary, has criticized the cases against him as part of a politically motivated attempt to keep him from winning back the White House. Meanwhile, a leader of the far-right Proud Boys has been sentenced to 17 years in prison, one of the longest sentences yet handed out over the January 6, 2021 U.S. Capitol riot. Prosecutors said 38-year-old U.S. Army veteran Joe Biggs was an instigator of the storming of Congress. Finally, Greek authorities sent 100 extra firefighters today to the country's northeast, where a massive blaze in the 13th day flared up again, prompting authorities to put residents on standby for a possible evacuation. The fire that started on August 19 has destroyed vast tracts of forest and burned homes and has been blamed for the deaths of 20 migrants whose bodies were found last week in the area near the border with Turkey. The reinforcements sent to the region brought the total number of firefighters deployed there to 582, backed by 10 planes and 7 helicopters from 9 European countries.
We'll have a play this album here by where we call Earl China Smith with us a talk about, feature the album, but as we said, the minister and power, so we could touch this dub tune here, on the same album we are talking about here. It's a tribute album with all, well not all, but a lot of Junior Biles music is featured on it, and a lot of artists lend them voice to cover versions of Catchpot Draws. Back to this tune.
It cut too often, man.
Cut too often.
Every time at the company radio, you get cut off again. Advertisement. Let them step asleep.
All right, well.
Yeah, me good, man. You know what I play to people, them? The system, man. People, they need to wake up, brother.
You mean my tune? My tune.
Yeah, man, you're a tune, man. The system, man. I fraud them, man.
All right, sir.
Yeah, man, give thanks. You hear, brother?
Yeah, man. Oh, give thanks. Give me two.
Well, the first one is call, and the first one is to say. The second one is to say what I say.
Okay.
Man, it's nice to see program I kick and I go and see them, you know?
Yeah. I got you, you know?
Yeah, man. I listened from last night, man. They are same way, no?
From
yeah,
so
man.
You don't eat no breakfast this morning?
Yeah, man. We just eat some fried breadfruit with fried plantain and with a vegetable, you know?
Fried breadfruit, them enough nowadays, man. Eh?
Plant vegetable enough, man. We'll pack a lot of patrol and them thing, enough hot pepper and them thing, you know?
So which part you live? Which part you have your farm?
You know, say, I'm your original Pleasant man. You're supposed to remember the patrol.
You mean Pleasant Road when you go to Gold Spring, you turn right, that's all?
Yeah, man. I hear the regular.
Then you didn't give me the pop show soccer, then when you claim say soccer and
yeah, man, all the while, yeah.
No, but I wasn't soccer. I was to eat. Me ask you for soccer, you give me, what?
No, actually, you never know if we grow them one day.
You're the man now.
Them need big still, but, you know.
Yeah, no, that's true, we don't know if we grow them. Hey, how much your is?
What you say?
How much ear hole is?
How much ear hole?
How old is?
Oh. You know what I say? We're not so young, I'm not so old still.
No, all right. Wait, how much you're not so old and not so young is?
We soon tell you, man.
Why? I'm afraid of the age, Bridget. Oh, everybody afraid of them age, so.
No, really. I go look for, ask somebody.
You go look at the calendar. You know, they put no calendar, man.
You call on my family, ask them, and you tell me.
Oh, you don't know your age then. All right, well, I know something then. I know nothing.
Yeah, anyway, moved out there, man. They're still, huh?
Yes. So where you have round now? You say you eat callaloo and pop chow this morning with breadfruit.
We have callaloo, we have little pop chow, we have hot pepper.
Yeah. You mean, where you have scotch bonnet or just ordinary pepper?
You know, say all kind of pepper me have the brown one, the red one,
no,
the yellow one. The
scotch bonnet or the yellow one. Scotch bonnet or the yellow one.
Well, for pepper me plant, man. Because more time I do it, me just do it as a business, you know.
I think that is good. That is good.
But sometimes we have millions of dollars of things and we not get no market.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and we are tell you say when you look at the food, them know them. You see, me not understand the government, and me still I try wrap my head round where them I say, because when you look at how much like a pound whatsoever you want to buy is, the only thing when I see gone right on a Aki.
Yeah.
I say Aki I tell you all $200 a dozen. Eh?
I tell you the truth and take it from you. You see if I put on IRS this country that dark and midnight. when I look on the thing right now, I look for all my credit. You know, I want it cut off.
Yeah. You don't want it cut off.
Tell me I have 1 minute left. Muta, father, you know, and I saw me stay, so I think, sir, big up yourself, Muta.
All right, sir. Give thanks. Give thanks.
I set the country on a level already.
Yeah, all right.
I still are doing.
Send me the statistics about the crime. It's just ironical that not every month, maybe every 3 months, we hear the police give out a statistics or the murder rate compared to last year gone down. This statistics so we get our know says not they make the statistics, yeah. It has shown say last year them have 108 murders that are 2022. This year so far them have 899 murders. No. Believe you me. And it's not today, no. So we could say 900 murders gone in a 8 month. You talk about 100 and odd murders, on an average, 100 and odd murders per month. No, what? The end of August. Today the end of August, right? Yes, today the end of August. Tomorrow the 1st of September. And as of the 31st of August, 900 people was murdered in Jamaica. I know them what I could tell you now, say, if you compare it with last year, you could have get 850, the same period, but 100 odd murder upon an average per month for 8 months. Last year it was 1,008 murders. Now it's 900 and 4 more months left. 4 more months left, you know. It begs to ask the question again. What the hell the government is doing to curtail the murder rate in Jamaica? That is the big question, you know. People concerned about robbery, people concerned about all the other criminal activities, you know. But you see the murder rate is a strike to the core of the people, them consciousness. The core, the murder rate. You can always hear about thief a grab bag and the thief them now grab bag again. Them a hold up bank now like real criminal. I tell you, what is it that is happening in Jamaica? 100 and odd people murdered per month on an average. And you have 30 days in a 1 month. So you know it's more, it's more than 3 people per day you talk about if you want to carry to that. Yeah, if you want to carry to that, it's more than 3 people per day murdered on an average in a Jamaica. What is it they are doing that not resonating with them crime plan, which I don't see them have none really, but this, what them call it, the Zozo operation. Them want to have the Zozo 365 days per year. And them will tell you, say, see, they extend the crime. This Zozo thing is a madness because if them go in our area, I mean, I don't know if I mean have no sense really. Come like I mean have no sense. If them go in our area and the police and them tell the people them to them are coming out the area. If me a gunman, me leave that area there, you know, I hide my gun somewhere. And then when how much days done and come back, you hear the criminal activity start up again. Me don't know if I mean have no sense, but it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me. 900 people get murdered since the year start. The people them is traumatized in Jamaica. Traumatized. We're going to take a break and come forward. Let's go mention the statistics in relationship to the crime rate. Jamaica, I bet you any money that in a 80, 100 people not get murdered per day in a 80. Yes. And easy to check too, I wonder if Shamara can check it for me. I stand to be corrected if 100 people get murdered in a 80 per month. Per month. That is, Jamaica is supposed to be the stable country, man. It's supposed to be stable. It's supposed to be a beacon of hope for the Caribbean and to a larger extent part of the world. The Minister of Insecurity and Injustice. What the hell you doing? That is my question. What are you doing? Look how much equipment me here. We have a big exhibition in the arena the other day. And by the way, I did tell my ministry of culture there. I tell her, I say, why them don't transform the arena into a music hall? And them keep putting some little things in there. Every 6 months you hear something in the arena. The big building that they're not using, them have experts who can transform it into a music hall. That place can hold more than 78,000 people inside it. So. But back to these criminal activities here. Them just get some serious crime fighting tools where them exhibit in the arena. Them every minute them call a Zozo, them call it zone of special operation. Them don't call it state of emergency. Them don't want to call it that, state of emergency. And it not help. It not help. It not helping. 900 people murdered since the year start, and this is the 8th month. The law of logics, I don't know if it's a logic still, show me say, by the time November done, it's supposed to pass last year. Because last year's 1,008 people get murdered. A total of 1,008 people. So the law of whatsoever me want to call it, I show me say 4 months left. By November, it's supposed to pass the 1,008 mark. I don't understand these people. I don't understand these people at all. And anytime we ball out, make it sound like a we have no sense. Them use a little telecation where them get from you blind and want to confuse the people them into some sweet mouth talk. That is what them do. Yes, Ian.
Afternoon, Muta. How are you?
I am okay.
Haven't heard you in quite a while because I'm not tuning to the radio of such.
What happened? Your battery dead? You're not paying your light bill?
I have light, man. It's just that sometimes I drop asleep when when it comes on to Wednesday night.
Yes.
But I find your program is very interesting, you know?
Okay, give thanks.
Yeah. What I would like to discuss is the issue of the vaccines. Do you hear that Joe Biden is saying now that there is a new vaccine that is coming out and everybody will have to take it?
The vaccine for what?
The COVID virus.
Oh, yeah, I never hear about it. I hear them say people have to start to wear masks in a certain places again. But I never hear about this new vaccine that. Okay, so where you say about it? Because me never take the first one. Me never take the first one.
Take it.
No, but I know everybody in America take the vaccine. The majority of people in America never take the vaccine.
No.
Yeah, and the majority of people are here, so never take the vaccine.
Yes, majority took it. It's over 200 million people who took it, yes.
No, the majority of people in Jamaica never take it.
No.
So where them I bring it back for now? For do what? Where you think them I do?
I don't know.
They never worked the first time, so them I come again?
Right.
Okay, well, make them come. So you never take it?
Is it true that the U.S. Air Force landed in Jamaica? Because I'm hearing rumors and I want to be
certain. No, wait. I'm glad you mentioned that. It's something I did once from last week and forget. Look here.
Yeah.
The minister, what name up the king of Portland, what name again? Darrell Vaz, the king of Portland there. Him say, him will get into why the airport was closed.
Right.
There's something that them tell people, but there's something that them never tell the people them.
Exactly.
And you hear him say anything else about why the airport was closed, because them say some part of the runway was this and some part of the runway was that. But according to
through the regular media houses, I heard it through the other platforms.
Well, according to the information that I get, and I have no need to doubt it, and I don't hear them say nothing else about it, that one of the reasons why the airport was closed down is because of this American plane that was landed with a whole heap of dignitaries from the army.
Right.
You hear about that too?
Yes, I heard.
So I am going to hold on upon that until somebody tell me say no go so.
But what do you think is their purpose down here? What is it that they want from Jamaica? What is it that they want from
all right. You mean the American army?
Yes, the American army.
Yeah, go ahead. All right, make I tell you where my theory, and don't well quote me if you want to quote me, but it's a theory. You see, Cuba is now facilitating China. The Chinese is in Cuba building up them arsenal of weapons. And Cuba is near to America.
Okay.
Cuba and China is communist country. So they are aligned. And in the 60s, Russia had interest in Cuba, Castro Cuba. And it nearly started a world war because the Americans saying that Russia was getting too near to Cuba, to America. All right. Yeah. Fast forward now. Jamaica is aligned to America.
Yeah.
Cuba is aligned to China.
Yeah.
Man, I build up this and I build up that in a Cuba. Them send plane down here. Yes. I throw me car and I don't call no foul.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, we have to watch where I go on. Because up to now, I don't hear the king of Portland say nothing else. I wasn't here still. So I don't know if he make any statement. If somebody can call me and tell me say, yeah. But them will make statement for appease the people them. And don't tell you exactly what is happening. What that plane was doing in Jamaica during the time of the close of the airport.
Exactly.
Yes, so it's something to be asked. You're not hearing nothing about it.
One more thing, Muta, because I know you're an interesting individual and you always say that even the Bible one person can have this perspective, another person can see it another way, and so many different people can see it other way. America has a slogan that says, "In God they trust."
Yeah, pan the money.
Huh?
It's on the money. In God we trust.
On the money. Now, if the God of righteousness, if this God is the God of righteousness, and that they trust, how is it that they are going to so many places doing all types of wrong?
I don't know what that have to do with in God we trust on the money. But America feels that them is a watch country for the whole world. Right now, them and Iran might in a big problem now because Iran a sidestep them and do certain things where them can't take with the ship them where go through the waters near Iran. Yeah. Taiwan is a problem to them because China claim Taiwan. Russia is a problem to them because they must say, you know, it's ironical, you know, I so make it talk, but it's ironical that Russia is almost the same country, you know, it's just a little border thing. Russia and Ukraine is the same landmass, right?
Yeah.
And the Americans don't want the Russian them get no hole in Ukraine. But them go clear in a them want Taiwan. The Chinese them must say Taiwan is China almost.
Yeah.
And them don't want China to say Taiwan.
Right.
It's part of China thing. Them just want to go all over the place and dominate the place and confuse the people, them mind, and then juke you with that legal.
Mali would I say with their devil philosophy.
Yeah, you know why them devil philosophy.
Yeah.
Yes, in God we trust, all others have to pay.
Yes.
And you know, so them matter is out of many one. You didn't know that?
Yeah?
Yeah, man. Watch out. When I look at all that, let's you know, the matter of America is out of many one. I can play Obama, repeat it. And it depends them, what them call it. I think it depends one of them money too. If you look on the money, it's in a lot, I think. Out of many one.
Oh.
Yes. So you see.
It's almost as close as to Jamaica's motto, out of many one people.
Watch out, man. The people them who call themselves founding fathers, man. No America them get the thing from, man.
Okay.
And the Constitution, no England them get it from.
Okay.
Yeah, and the food where I eat, no America them get it from, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, the people them is traumatized, mama. Traumatized.
Yeah.
Totally traumatized. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, give thanks.
Give thanks. Have a nice day.
You too.
Thank you.
All right. So we want to play this thing, yeah. We're going back to Gabon, you know. We have this newscast that we want to play because you're not going to hear certain things in the West, yeah. And even though this is a West, but you have West and you have West. You understand? Okay, so here we go.
We're going to start with breaking news out of Gabon. Senior members of the military have appeared on television saying they're now in control of the oil-rich Central African country. They've ordered all institutions to be dissolved. Military leaders have also announced the cancellation of Saturday's election result. The Electoral Commission says President Ali Bongo won a third term in office. He's said to have got nearly 65% of the vote.
À cela s'ajoute une gouvernance irresponsable.
After noting an irresponsible, unpredictable governance which results in a continuous deterioration of social cohesion that risks leading the country to chaos, today, the 30th of August, 2023, in the name of the Gabonese people, we, the Committee of the Transition and the Restoration of Institutions, have decided to defend the peace, putting an end to the regime in place. To this end, the general elections of August 26, 2023, as well as the results, are cancelled. The borders of the country are closed until further notice. All the institutions of the Republic are dissolved. The government, the Senate, the National Assembly, the Constitutional Court. We call on the population for calm and serenity. and we affirm our attachment to the respect of Gabon's commitments to the international community.
Okay, for more on this, we're going to bring in Catherine Soy. She's following developments from Nairobi in Kenya. What more do we know about what's going on, Catherine?
Yes, so that statement was released on Gabon TV. This is a state-run TV station that is based.
Get her back later in the program, as this is a breaking story. She'll have a lot more information. But at the moment, we're going to go to Tara Connor. She's the founder and executive director of Africa Risk Consulting. She's joining us from the city of Bordeaux in France. Very good to have you with us on Al Jazeera. Why do you think that this has happened now, just a few days after the election result?
Well, it seems that this is a continuation of control of one family, the Bongo family. You know, Ali Ben Bongo, the president who actually won the elections, took over from his father 14 years ago. So I think there is a deep resentment in West Africa on around dynastic-style politics. But nevertheless, this military intervention should really be seen in the context of perhaps the military interventions in neighbouring Francophone countries, Mali, Burkina Faso, and most recently Niger.
The military are saying that they're ordering the dissolution of government, Senate, National Assembly and Constitutional Court. Is there any indication that they're A, in a position to order that, and B, will people actually listen?
Well, I think it's, as we've seen elsewhere, when a military takes over, it's at the barrel of a gun. So people do tend to be a bit cautious. But definitely the Omar Bongo descendants, Ali Ben Bongo, they were particularly unpopular. There was a lot of challenge to the elections. I mean, the elections took place under curfew with limited media and so on. So really, even extending the term, Ali Ben Bongo's extending his term to a third term was particularly popularly unpopular. Well, it was unpopular with people.
Is there any, or has there been any indication in Gabon's past that this kind of thing could happen? Does it have a history of this kind of military intervention?
Yes, it does. There was an attempt there was an attempted coup against Ali Ben Bongo's father, Omar Bongo, but that was actually put down by French intervention. But France has long since changed its policy towards its former colonies, and Gabon is one of the key very loyal former colonies to France. But France has particularly changed that since Emmanuel Macron came into power, and has sought to widen France's relationships to Nigeria, to South Africa, to Kenya, and reduce its dependence and reduce these very strong tied links to the former the Franc zone countries, as they're called. And West African countries will be very unpopular in France. But I doubt very much that Macron will respond with an intervention, as has happened in the past, unless France is called upon to do so by ECOWAS or the African Union or the regional bodies that have been taking a very prominent role in other military coups in the region, such as most recently in Niger, where the ECOWAS, the 15-member regional body, has actually announced that it has got preparations for a military intervention in Niger to restore the constitutional order. And we will watch to see what those regional bodies and what the African Union says now about this latest in this string of coups.
I want to ask you about...
major producer of minerals, uranium, that are very important for the future energy transition. So geopolitically it's important, but also very important, much more so to France, to European relations, than, say, the OPEC countries.
Let me ask you about the more local relations. It borders the Republic of Congo and Equatorial Guinea. What do you think the impact is going to be there? How are they going to be seeing this?
Well, Gabon, Congo is very much more as authoritarian state, as is Equatorial Guinea. So I don't think the rash of coups will worry those two regimes, particularly as they are quite tightly controlled by their leaders. But the country that I would be more concerned about would be Senegal, where, you have a very unpopular president who is equally trying to manipulate upcoming elections by all sorts of means, including, arresting and imprisoning opposition leaders.
Tara O'Connor, founder and executive director of Africa Risk Consulting. We appreciate it very much indeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now I can go back to Catherine Soy, who we were talking to earlier about the latest from what was happening in Gabon. Catherine, thanks very much indeed for coming back to us. I know we had a few phone problems. What do we know then about the situation in Gabon at the moment?
Yes, so this statement was released on Gabon TV. It's a state-run TV station that is based within the presidency, and those who addressed that briefing were members of the army. We saw presidential guards as well, and they're calling themselves the Committee for the Transition and Restitution of the Institutions, and they say that they don't believe that the election was free or fair or transparent, and they say that they are very frustrated because the government has not been following the will of the people. So people have been told to stay at home until the situation is resolved. And we've been talking to some people in Gabon who have been following these developments, and we are saying they've been telling me that during the campaigns, during the voting as well, people were not very confident that the election will be free. That happened when it comes to the election. For example, election observers, international
and them say in 2021 the rate was 1,489, and in 2022 it was 2,088. So it's much more than Jamaica. Much more than Jamaica. We see in Haiti, them a fight for get rid of the same thing what we are talking about, where the Gabon people them are talking about, where the Mali people them are talking about, and where, yes, okay, me could it come in. Yeah, it come in, them say 2,088 people killed in 2022. Okay, so given that Haiti in a turmoil and it's not a stable country, and the most, according to them, is the most impoverished country maybe in the world, and given that Jamaica is supposed to be a stable country, and given that Jamaica is a country where people say it's a beacon of hope for freedom for the people. I don't know why we should have itch up beside them. Me talk 80. Because them a fight for something that we don't have to fight for. But yes, we might have to go fight for it. It's a long time, 80 a fight. When a country free itself and have to pay reparation to the colonizers for years, to the point where the money where them pay is more than where them spend in the country to sustain the country. And And that go on for years. I want to tell the people, them say, when we are look on, we are going in Africa, don't move it away from what is going on in Haiti. It have a connection. The Francophone countries, them that was colonized by France. Africa, most of North Africa was colonized by France. We are talking about Tunisia, Algeria, go right down to Mali, Gabon, Senegal. What a hell if you ever hear anything, a coup going on Senegal. You talk about coup. If you ever hear about a coup going on Senegal, it's not lovely. Because Senegal is like the beacon of what France want to see the other country them look like, that them colonize. Can you imagine a country named Gambia? Gambia and Senegal is one landmass. It's like you have Jamaica, and then you have a parish like St. Catherine. Now, St. Catherine is a different country from Jamaica. Gambia is a different country from Senegal. Even though, as me I say, St. Catherine in a Jamaica, Gambia in a Senegal, but guess what? Senegal, the people in a Senegal talk French, and the people them in a Gambia talk English. So English is the dominant language in a Gambia, and French is the dominant language in a Senegal. But it's the same landmass. That is the way of the colonizers. Because a lot of the borders there, where they now, wasn't there before the Europeans got to Africa. I could say that again, A lot of the borders where you see, in Africa right now, wasn't there before Europeans got here. It is a conference that them conjure up. Them call it the Berlin Conference. And then cut this and say cut that and say this is that and this is that and this is that. Because you have places in a one country where people talk different languages. You go in a certain place in Africa, the Prime Minister Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire, him is a Akan. And the Akan people come from Ghana. But what? Them is people from the Ivory Coast. So we are tell you, because at the world level, it's a serious thing. We are confronted with land and the idea of constitution, colonization and neocolonialism run deep. White supremacy is on the rise again. In America, in France, yes, in America and in France, white supremacy is rise again. Every week, you have a mass shooting in America. You should have a travel advisory. I don't know, the government of Jamaica now put out a travel advisory to America. You're not safe. You play theater tour. Imagine you're going to a supermarket with your family. And you come out and your family not come out because a man come in there with a gun and start fire shot at the place and kill the whole people them. That is where I go on. Anybody see the youth them will jump out of the window at the second floor of the school because a man coming out of school and a fire shot at the school. The youth, them a throw them bag out through the window and them a jump through the window. That talk about like yesterday. That a go on. And the day before that, boy, may I tell you, welcome to democracy. Welcome to democracy. Here we go. Here we go.
Similar thing, you know. You see, what go on at Jamaica, you know, where you're going to end up with a leader who is unpopular. And when a leader gets unpopular, you know, I don't think they generally go on, you know.
Yes. Because the leader in Gabon have 50 years in families, a family dynasty, you know.
Yeah.
And the people them realize, say, all right, so we not get them, I say, no man, fraud business. Even if I not fraud, you know, them I say, enough is enough for that family there.
Yeah,
you can't come rule so long. Eh?
Yeah, it's just like the leader here, where the leader here say, he's going to make sure you have a fixed election date. No fixed election date. He's going to make sure leader can impeach. Me I thought the leader here we are run Jamaica, you know.
Yes.
In 100 days, him said that, you know, 2016, you know, when him come in a power, you know.
Yeah.
Him say, him going to make sure Jamaica have a election date. That means, say, the one can say when a election and when election are going to be.
Yeah.
It gone over 1,000 because every year you have 300 days. It gone over 1,000 now, thousands. And him no legislate that. Him no make that become legislation. He not even a bill him no put in the parliament for that.
Yeah.
All right.
So why you think him not do it?
Why not do it?
Yeah.
Because him want to stay in a power.
Okay.
Most of the time what that them doing. Because look on all even the 70-year thing where him say him no want a media question. What him do? A man run a country and you don't want a man question what you do for 70 years. How much man live 70 years?
Yeah.
Eh? As can to the Christian them are 70, you're supposed to live 70 years.
3 score and 10.
3 score and 10.
I same to that.
And when him say that, him about 40 or 50, about 50. You see?
Yeah.
So when you look on the whole thing, it's like, them leaders are just people them like the media can, you know? If them would have just do what them say, maybe the people would have followed them, you know?
Yeah.
Seeing Amanda say, yeah, you know, say him going to bring him the impeachment law where any man go over the board, you know, like going at the cookie or thief.
Yeah.
Money on them thing there.
Yeah.
Get impeached.
Consequence must.
Yeah, when you look, man a beat all the man in parliament and still in a parliament and all them things there.
Yeah.
And him not do nothing about that.
No, the man just go around the corner and come back. And
come back round. So them keep on take the people and feed that. So after a while, them get unpopular to the people them. Seeing because, look on in France now. France, make sure, tell the people them say, anywhere you're there now, use France, you know.
French.
Use French, you know. This is the biggest trick now. How can a black man be French? Eh? Frenchman.
Yeah, well, that is what they inculcate to the people, them. Just like how them people feel, so them are English, British.
Them are English, yeah. See? Yeah. So, when you look on it now, a man say, don't make that. So when all the medicate, when all the man go to France, go get the medication now and come back, you know.
Yeah.
Is a white man, you know, but him in a black color.
Yeah, breadfruit.
Yeah, breadfruit, you know, and the same thing I go on at Jamaica, where some little people now feel like some of that people not live good. They don't want to give the people a working wage, a livable wages. Yeah. But when you work, you can see 50 or 100,000, seeing a week, 2 weeks, where you work for your work, seeing that you can feed your family and all them things, till it reach, till all the man who run all the bank, I say, they have to be careful how them all, if they all raise people.
Yeah, because them say, it's a 7% raise. Jamaica not producing enough. So it's going to cause inflation.
Who's supposed to make Jamaica
But
produce?
guess what? Them don't take them raise up pay already. You know, say, them get raise up pay before him say it, you know.
All right.
So after them don't get the big raise up pay, you know, him come and tell you that Trim is a big financier. And we are some little idiot, we don't know nothing about money.
So we are some little idiot, and we know, a man like me, a man like you know, seeing people like Cabo and people who are sensible and some people to sit down now, seeing as human rights activists, and see all them little foolishness and them attack them foolishness, and through the people them dep on them phone. Them just dep on them phone and watch TikTok and go around and go on in the country. You understand? See? So we have to sit back now and watch Jamaica going a dumb jam. Because Jamaica not far from 80, you know. 80 are 10 million people, you know. And if 80 have a crisis and 2,000 people are there.
Yeah.
See?
And we don't have no crisis and 1,000 people there.
Crisis. Remember, you know, 800 odd people dead in our election, you know. So one man win election for Siaga win 19.
Yes.
See? So when we rise. See? So when some man talk and go on. Some people, some leader are trying to get unpopular against the people. See? And then them things start rise. See? You say Yago have fixed election date.
No fixed election. And them cancel the way name the election.
The local government
election. The local government election. Them have to call it now.
All right, you remember I spoke to you last night, see, and me laminate you and I make you know, say, me have all of them councillors there, you know, as illegal councillors, you know, because you can't elect a man for serve for 3 years.
And then gone past it.
And it gone past it, and then them get all raised.
It's still legitimate. Him not legitimate again.
Him not legitimate. Yeah, you see? So when you look on the whole thing, how Jamaica run, when some people are going like say, them smarter than some people. Feel like how them are write the Constitution thing now, and then no one just do the thing straight now and done because you are going now. Just when the thing rise up, and you, everything I got there, you know, either you have to run where God some foreign country, as son of president run where after,
of course.
You have to go, seeing just do the thing straight and done. We need a constitution for the people, from the people, where everybody, seeing, we you know, no man no dead, no liar house, and then two liar connected, him can't go to jail and all them things. No, him gone to jail.
Yeah, man.
You understand? You can't connect it to. And then so we want the law that when Jamaica stays, you know, you can boast about Jamaica a place to live. Just 30 years.
Work and play.
Joke and play. See? So we know, yo, Muta, I tell you, you know, you see, if them don't know them at all. See? At the same 80 thing or come out.
And that, I said, we have to move though. We have to move.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I show you talk, man. 80 I go reach us, so if you don't mind sharp, 80. Yeah, all right, Bridget. Yes, we're going to take a break and come forward.
To be an Olympic champion, you have
something there. Okay, so here we go. Female, Njeri, Njeri, Njeri. Njeri means anointed. Enika, Nneka, Enika means tender. Noni, Noni, means gift of God. Sadio, Sadio, Sadio means pure. So that's Njeri, Njeri, anointed. Enika, Nneka, tender. Noni, Noni, gift of God, and Sadio, Sadio, pure. Male name, Kala, Kala, Kala. Kala means tall. Alright, so we'll go. Moriba, Moriba, Moriba means curious. Kashka, 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 means friendly. And Ifoma, Ifoma means lasting friend. So that's Kala, Kala, Kala means tall. Moriba, Moriba, Moriba means curious. Kashka, Kashka, Kashka means friendly, and Ifoma, I-F-O-M-A.
Yeah, man. Yo, man, tell you. I want to something, you know, man.
Come like you walk, though. You walk?
Yeah, man, I get away from the way there, you know.
Okay.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Yes, from the money changing time, them want to talk to you about them changes of the money. What do you think are the true cause and the true reason to change the money? I don't know if
you mean change? You mean the look at the money?
The whole system.
Well, I think the money kind of look like them are conformed to how money look nowadays. Because if you look on the Canadian dollar, and if you look on the British pound, they have the same material and make them. So I guess, I don't know, them are conformed.
Yeah, well, we don't really talk about the looks and the quality still, you know, the reason to do it.
So what you talk about?
I want to tell you, you see the bottom line, I more have to change this money, I have to get some pirate on the money where I don't think I should have these people I walk up and down around with in my pocket.
But they're the same people, them put back pocket.
Hold on. We actually have 1 decade of people are dead through Michael Manley and Siaga. Them the 2 major persons we attack. We have a whole heap of family and friends them dead off through these people with them political tribal war. And no, you can take them put for money that's I if you have them a walk around within a pocket.
Alright, hold on. Which money them depend? Which bill them depend?
$2,000, brother.
Then all you have to do is just hold on. All you have to do is don't walk up and down with it in your pocket. Just get
definitely.
the $1,000 bill.
Avoid them as much as you can.
Yeah, well, avoid it.
Destruction them, man.
If you feel so strong about it, avoid it.
I just hear me talk as how me feel, man. Me feel strongly about it, man.
Yeah, me hear the feeling. But what me I say, just try to change the $2,000 into $1,000.
Me tell people, say me don't want to find them if they have money for me and them are pay me. Me don't want them.
No, why? You tell them to keep it?
Yeah, man.
All right, you want to know. Enter your of them. All right, now your address. Enter your of them.
Yeah.
Now your address and you bring it come.
No, man, you don't talk to me, man. You talk something else, man. Anyhow, let me shift from that topic there. You want to something else. You always never did Marcus Garvey, because I always hear them talk about some people where when them announce them event, them talk about and where them call is many more. I want to know if this is man go up and stage up and Marcus Garvey something, because me think that this man a plan them thing from way back from he say Marcus Garvey something now.
Oh, the man go up on the stage? Go stand up? The man go up on the stage, go stand up?
Yes.
Yeah, what you say about it?
Yeah, me want to know for him they call many more or what?
No, many more is a group, you know. No. I mean bad with many more.
This man they call many more.
No. Many more are my group. It's a group, you know. I know him that. And my group that many more.
Man, is a man named many more, you know.
No, man, but me not tell you, it's my group, but you know, you saw that here.
Okay.
Many more are my group.
So, yeah.
But me see the brother, you know, me see the, hey, watch out. Me lay down in a hotel in London, you know, I watch the whole thing, you know, till 5 o'clock in the morning. Cause 5 hours different, so when long as I 12 hours, it's at 5. And me see the brother stand up on the stage, and me have to wait. Oh, the artist come off on the stage, and him now come off. You know what I'm saying? We are trying to figure out this everybody deal with. And then we know the altercation and all them really, but yeah, I know him name many more though, I know him, I mean.
Are you at the name, sir?
Yeah, me have a group name and many more.
Okay, so listen to me now. You see, what transpire Marcus Garvey thing, that's right. I know that should have never happened. I want the money to put measures in place that damn little thing that will happen, because you see, just also when the man them have vaccine, I want to know if them pay these security or insecurity or this security and the police them are a volunteer that them take so long to run. So this so before suppose something else could happen before them forward, you know, man.
Yeah, but I couldn't suppose that something else could happen. No, it never happened. I couldn't suppose it.
You're supposed to have security can right at the stage just for any little funny move.
Yeah, it's supposed to have security at the stage, but, yeah.
So
in all the years it a keep, and the first that happen.
Yeah, but me hear them say similar thing like that happen already still, you know, so I think them yeah, because me can afford say, I know so me I want that something we want say no.
You belly full man.
Me no left area them don't left me. Me not left area them.
All right, beautiful.
Every time me hear some apology I make it some little thing we have paper area from me don't want to know say them suspend IRFM license, not take away IRFM license, so me are beg on a door. See what you can do about them with a low thing where some people really make a come through the year with years. You hear me tell you, sir?
Yes, sir.
And again, one more thing, a long time I find out me beg you, you know what, make me bring up forward this stuff. First night, me I listen to the program and me hear the yard talk about when you left the yard from 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock, you come in like say, you're a shadow of your life and not see you again. So, I beg you to play this little song by one little brother named Black Hero. So, I'm just a pray to make it come back this evening because I must say, Donkey said the hurt no level and he believe
him. What the song name?
Donkey said the hurt no level and me believe him. I say a song, I think I say a song, but him came just a pray to make it come back this evening.
Really? You need it?
I'm supposed to know the music tone.
Who supposed to know it?
Kemar supposed to know it, man. Can't no shame me that here.
Kemar?
Yeah, man.
Me don't know if him know it.
Yeah, man. Kemar supposed to know it tone, man.
All right, you have to tell me what it name. You have to tell me what it name. Come on, know it.
You better name Black Hero, it's name, man. I could better name Black Hero and sing the tune.
Are you brethren?
I know me brethren I don't know from Adam, but I play the tune.
Yeah, all right. No, all right. But when you come off, never ask him, man.
Just give a listening ears to your music. Listen carefully.
Yeah, when you come off, never ask him.
I think every man who use the road at daytime supposed to sing that tune, man. Yeah, because you want to make the tune back this evening.
All right, sir. All right. If you don't come up, you can't get to play it though, because I don't even know how it's tune. I'm not going to tell me how it's tune.
Yeah, man, somebody will call you and tell about the tune, man.
All right, sir. Give thanks. Yeah, man, you don't have to play have it. Well, them have still February to call it, but you don't know it go? Yes. I want to hear up Shamara Preston. Yes. So, we give thanks. We'll be back here on Wednesday with the cutting edge from 10 to 2. And we'll go out with this. Listen.